welcome to The View from the IADB. I'm here joined by Arthur Rubin and Tak Tahara, who respectively leads the Latin American DCM market for Nomura, and Tak, you are the heads of the international syndication for the bank. So I think the Asian currency now that is becoming pretty trendy is the renminbi, isn't it? But we should not forget that the yen is still a pretty liquid market, or perhaps not as liquid as you would like for Latin American investors. But why should yen investors look at a Latin American issuer?
The interest rate environment in Japan, probably needless to say, has been extremely low since Abenomics started 2.5 years ago. And in the context of persistently low rates, Japanese investors are really left with no choice but to look for higher yielding instruments. And we've seen the credit spreads offered by European banks, which historically have been the largest foreign issuers in the yen market, collapse in the last year, so that the yields have become less and less attractive for Japanese investors. So in that environment, they are seeking out new regions, new geographies in which they can invest. Mexico really paved the way to the reopening of the yen market for Latin America, which had been pretty quiet since the Argentine default in 2002. Mexico did the first non-guaranteed bond in yen in 2011, which Nomura was involved in, and has since come back to the yen market annually since then with 3 very, very successful issues, well subscribed. And I would give the Mexican finance ministry and Hacienda a lot of credit for doing the work to get Japanese investors more comfortable, not just with Mexico, but really with Latin America as a whole.
And that's one of the issues. So while in the past, and you mentioned 2002, which is a key, obviously, moment in the history of Latin America, while in the past Latin America was seen as the one big basket, now investors really know that it's formed by very different realities. Are Japanese also severely aware of these differences, and what markets do you think they would have more appetite for?
Yeah, I think it's like after the Argentina default, there's like Japanese investors stayed away from any Latin American credit, and in fact, they didn't know the difference between Brazil and Mexico or some other countries. But after this Mexican samurai transaction, they learned more about the Latin American the regions. And for instance, Mexico is closely tied with the US, and Brazil, on the other hand, is have a relationship with China because of oil exports, iron ore exports. So I think little by little that they will know the difference, and they will pick up some other countries.
So the Mexican situation easy to analyze because linked to the US, Brazilian case, again perhaps easier to look into because of the Chinese connections. What other markets are maybe not as well known or more challenging to figure out, but that presents interesting opportunities in your view?
The Japanese Bank for International Cooperation, or JBIC, one of its missions is to try and help foreign developing countries get access to the yen market by providing credit support for issues. So Uruguay, Colombia, Panama have all issued JBIC guaranteed bonds into the yen market. Now, because those are primarily guaranteed by the Japanese government, the level of credit analysis or understanding isn't as deep as for a non-guaranteed issue. But it is a way to raise the profile of countries like Colombia is another one that issued a JBIC guaranteed bond. So that helps. A number of Latin issuers have made repeated trips to Japan to meet with Japanese investors. We set up meetings for the Brazilian Development Bank, for Pemex, for the Mexican government. I know in recent days some banks from the region have been meeting with Japanese investors. So it's all part of an investor relations exercise to get the Japanese investor base more familiar with the region, with country-by-country distinctions.
Okay, that's great. So it looks like many more great connections may be formed in the future. Thank you both for your comments. Thank you both for your comments.